Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in life when every door seems to close, when every effort feels wasted, and you start to wonder if you've been forgotten. But what if I told you, you're not lost, you're being led? What if every rejection, every delay, every unanswered prayer wasn't a setback, but a setup for something far greater than a job, a calling written specifically for you? Stay with me, because what's coming next will change the way you see your entire journey. And in that moment of trust, something within you begins to change. The weight of waiting starts to lift, and you feel a quiet strength rising in its place. You begin to see that the world is not withholding something from you. It's preparing to reveal something through you. The frustration that once consumed you becomes fuel. The doubt that used to slow you down becomes direction. You realize that what once felt like emptiness was actually space being cleared for something extraordinary. When you stop searching out of desperation and start seeking with faith, you see life differently. You start recognizing small signs, a conversation that sparks an idea, a problem that needs solving, a dream that won't leave you alone no matter how much you try to suppress it. That's not coincidence, that's calling. And callings don't always shout. Sometimes they whisper. They show up as restlessness, as that inner voice that says, there's more you're meant to do. The key is to listen, not to the noise of the world, but to that still, small voice within. Because that voice is the map that leads you where no resume ever could. You've spent so long believing that success depends on someone choosing you. But the truth is, the moment you decide to choose yourself, everything changes. Choosing yourself means believing that what you have inside is enough to begin. It means understanding that the world needs what you carry, even if no one has recognized it yet. Greatness rarely begins with applause, it begins with conviction. The kind that refuses to quit, refuses to compromise, and refuses to believe that life is limited to the boundaries of employment. It's not that jobs are unimportant, they serve a purpose. They teach discipline, teamwork, and endurance. But there comes a point when you must discern whether the job you seek is meant to be your path or merely your preparation. Because sometimes the lesson isn't in getting the job, it's in realizing you don't need it to start living with purpose. Maybe what you thought was the finish line is actually the starting point. There's a power that comes from surrendering your timeline. When you stop trying to force what isn't ready, you make room for what's divinely aligned. The doors that once seemed permanently locked begin to open, not because you've found the right key, but because you've become the right person. Growth doesn't always happen in visible ways. Sometimes it happens in the quiet refining of your spirit, when you learn patience, when you learn humility, when you learn to act even when you're uncertain. Most people spend their lives chasing certainty. They want guarantees, promises, outcomes, but life doesn't work that way. The most beautiful things are born from uncertainty, courage, creativity, faith, innovation. You may not know what's next, but that's not a reason to stop moving. It's an invitation to start trusting, because every step taken in faith is a declaration that you believe something greater is guiding you, even when you cannot see the entire path. When you begin to see yourself as more than a job title, you start to uncover the endless potential within you. You remember the ideas you've ignored, the dreams you've postponed, the talents you've buried because they didn't fit the mold. Maybe it's time to revisit them. Maybe that idea you once dismissed is the very seed you were meant to plant. The world is full of people waiting for permission to begin, but the truth is, no one can give it to you. You give it to yourself when you decide that you were created to contribute something meaningful. There's a reason your journey feels different from others. You're not meant to walk the same path. You're not behind. You're being set apart. The delay isn't punishment, it's positioning. You're being aligned with something only you can carry. And sometimes the loneliness you feel is simply the space required to build something sacred. When life removes certain people, plans, or possibilities from your path, it's not robbing you, it's refining you. It's clearing distractions so that you can focus on what truly matters. You've been taught to measure success by visibility, by what others can see, by what the world applauds. But true success is built in the unseen. It's the discipline to keep going when no one is watching. It's the faith to believe in your future when your present looks uncertain. It's the strength to keep sowing even when the soil looks dry, because when your harvest comes, it will not be by luck, it will be by preparation. Every tear, every trial, every unanswered prayer will have served a purpose. The time you spend waiting is not wasted time, it's invested time. You're being equipped with endurance, resilience, and vision. The person who will step into that greater plan is not the same person who began this journey. You're evolving, being molded, being made ready. When your season of breakthrough arrives, you'll understand why it had to take this long. Because if you had received it too early, you wouldn't have been ready to carry it. Blessings require capacity, and capacity is built through patience. So while others rush, learn to be still. While others panic, learn to prepare. Use this time to sharpen your skills, to nurture your ideas, to deepen your faith. Don't see waiting as inactivity, see it as incubation. Something is growing, even if you can't see it yet. Every day you remain faithful in the small things. You're building the foundation for the great things. What's coming will not be fragile. It will be strong enough to last. You must begin to see your life not as a sequence of random events, but as a masterpiece in progress. The moments that confuse you now will one day connect perfectly. You will look back and see how the missed opportunities were actually mercies, how the detours were directions, how the silence was preparation. The divine plan does not unfold in haste, it unfolds in harmony. And though you may not understand the melody now, you will in time. Let this be the season where you stop shrinking to fit expectations and start expanding to fit your destiny. The world doesn't need more people doing what's expected, it needs more people daring to follow what's inspired. Every great revolution began when someone decided to stop following the system and start following their soul. Maybe that's you. Maybe your struggle right now is not about finding employment, but about finding expression, the place where who you are and what you do finally align. You have been equipped with something sacred, an ability, a perspective, a strength that no one else possesses in the same way. That's your contribution to this world. It's not defined by what company you work for or what position you hold. It's defined by the impact you create, the people you touch, the problems you solve. Whether you lead a business, write a book, build a product, or simply live with integrity and love your purpose is unfolding in ways you can't yet see. And the moment you stop chasing the illusion of control, you begin to walk in divine confidence. You start realizing that every closed door was a necessary guidepost, that you never lost time, you were being prepared for your time. You understand that the delays were not detours but directions, and that the strength you've built in the waiting is far more valuable than any job title could ever be. So rise each day with gratitude, not because everything is perfect, but because everything is purposeful. You are being refined in ways that will bless you later. You are being stretched so that your future can hold more than your past. You are being trusted with the in-between, because only those who can endure uncertainty are ready to handle destiny. Your story is not ending in disappointment. It's unfolding in divine order. Every unanswered prayer, every rejection letter, every closed door is pointing you toward the place you truly belong. What's coming will not require you to chase it. It will meet you at the intersection of preparation and purpose. And when it does, you'll realize you were never just searching for a job, you were being called to a mission, something eternal, something that will not just provide for you, but will live beyond you. Because when you finally step into what was meant for you, every struggle will make sense, and you'll see that the bigger plan was never about employment, it was about becoming everything you were created to be. And when that realization sinks in, something remarkable begins to awaken within you. You stop living as if your worth depends on being chosen and start living as if you were sent. You begin to carry yourself differently, think differently, act differently. You no longer see rejection as a reflection of your inadequacy, but as a reminder that your destiny cannot be confined to someone else's design. The pressure to prove yourself fades, replaced by the quiet confidence of someone who knows that the right door will open not because they forced it, but because it was meant for them. The moment you embrace that truth, peace starts to replace panic. You begin to see that every struggle was never meant to destroy you, it was meant to strengthen the foundation you're building your future upon. Each disappointment, each long night of worry, each unanswered question was molding you into someone capable of carrying greater responsibility. Because there are things God cannot give you until you become the kind of person who can sustain them. The blessings you're praying for come with weight, and that weight requires preparation. So the waiting, the uncertainty, the silence, they're not punishments. They're a sacred process. They're your training ground. The universe is not ignoring you, it's instructing you. It's developing the patience to hold steady when things don't make sense, the endurance to keep moving when the outcome isn't clear, the faith to stand firm when logic says it's over. And one day, you'll see that the very season you wished away was the one that built your character the most. When you shift your focus from what you lack to what you're learning, everything changes. You start to notice the lessons hidden in the ordinary, how resilience is built in small acts of consistency, how gratitude opens the door to greater things, how even failure carries the seeds of wisdom. You begin to understand that the purpose of this season is not just to find the next step, but to become the kind of person who can thrive in the next step. Life isn't waiting to give you what you want, it's waiting for you to become ready for it. Think of how many people rush into things they weren't prepared for, jobs they couldn't sustain, opportunities they couldn't handle, success they couldn't manage. What looked like a blessing soon became a burden because they skipped the preparation that waiting provides. You are being spared from that. What feels like delay is often protection from premature elevation, because rising too soon can destroy what was meant to last forever. So be thankful that your growth is slow, that your lessons are deep, and that your foundation is solid. The world is full of noise urging you to hurry, to compare, to compete. But the ones who make the greatest impact are those who learn to be still in the noise. They understand that the most important work happens in the unseen, in the mind, in the spirit, in the heart. While others chase visibility, they chase clarity. They focus on building something real, something meaningful, something that will endure long after trends fade and attention moves elsewhere. That's the difference between chasing success and walking in purpose. Success can be taken, purpose cannot. You might look around and see others advancing, celebrating promotions, buying homes, announcing achievements, and you might wonder why your turn hasn't come. But remember this: comparison is the thief of clarity. The moment you start measuring your worth by someone else's progress, you lose sight of your unique path. Their timeline is not yours. Their assignment is not yours. You are not behind, you are being refined for something different. When it's your time, it will not require striving. It will unfold naturally, powerfully, undeniably. The truth is, you were never meant to live a life defined by survival. You were meant to live a life defined by significance. But significance demands sacrifice, the willingness to wait, to trust, to walk through uncertainty without losing faith. You can't rush the unfolding of something eternal. The process that feels so slow is the very thing anchoring your purpose in depth and wisdom. Fast things fade, deep things last. You are being rooted so that when the winds of life blow, you will not be moved. Sometimes you won't see evidence that things are working. You'll pray and hear nothing. You'll act and see no results. And in those moments, doubt will whisper, maybe you've been forgotten. But silence doesn't mean absence. When a seed is planted, it's buried in darkness, unseen, untouched, unnoticed. Yet within that darkness, life is forming, roots are growing, strength is developing. The same is true for you. You are not buried, you are being planted. And when the time comes, what emerges will not just grow, it will flourish. Every season of obscurity is a test of authenticity. Can you keep showing up even when no one applauds? Can you keep believing when you have no evidence? Can you stay faithful when results seem far away? That's what separates those who live by sight from those who live by faith. And the ones who live by faith always outlast those who don't. Because while others give up when things get hard, you will keep going, knowing that every unseen moment is building the strength you'll need later. You are not defined by your current circumstances. You are defined by your endurance through them. Your character, your courage, your conviction, those are the true measures of your worth. The world may look at titles and income, but heaven looks at integrity. And if you stay true to your values when no one is watching, you're already winning in ways that matter more than any job ever could. This is the time to build yourself, learn new skills, explore your passions. Connect deeper with what truly matters. Don't wait for life to begin once you have a job. Live as if your purpose is unfolding right now, because it is. Use this season to create something from within you, to serve in small ways, to move forward in faith even if you're unsure of the destination. Because progress doesn't always look like success. Sometimes it looks like obedience. The people who change the world aren't the ones who had perfect opportunities. They're the ones who used what they had and trusted it was enough to begin. You have ideas, gifts, and experiences that can create value right where you are. Maybe it's starting a small business, volunteering, writing, teaching, mentoring, creating. Whatever it is, start. Don't wait for a title to validate your potential. The moment you start using what you already have, you'll attract what's meant for you. And remember, faith is not about knowing how everything will work out. Faith is the courage to take the next step, even when you can't see the whole staircase. Every great journey begins with uncertainty. The difference between those who find their path and those who remain lost isn't talent, it's trust. Trust that you are being guided. Trust that there is meaning in your waiting. Trust that the plan, though invisible now, will reveal itself in time. When life closes one door, it's often because it's about to open a gate to something far greater. But you'll only see it if you stop staring at the door that's shut. Lift your eyes, look beyond the immediate. The opportunity you're looking for might not come with a job title or a paycheck at first. It might come as an idea, a calling, a quiet nudge that says, start here. Don't dismiss it because it looks small. Everything significant starts small. The greatest transformations always begin in the unseen. A seed must break before it grows. A diamond must be pressured before it shines. Gold must be refined before it gleams. Likewise, your struggle is shaping you for the brilliance ahead. It's removing what no longer belongs, strengthening what's eternal, and revealing what's been hidden. You are in the refining fire, not to burn, but to become pure. And as you walk this path, remember that divine timing is never late. It arrives precisely when you are ready, so breathe deeply, release your fear, let go of the anxious need to control outcomes. The plan that's unfolding for you is not fragile, it's unshakable. It's written into the fabric of your existence. And though you cannot yet see its full design, one day you'll look back and realize it was never random, never wasted, never delayed, it was perfect all along. And as that truth settles into your heart, something extraordinary begins to shift inside you. The panic that once drove your days gives way to patience. The noise of comparison fades into quiet confidence. You start to understand that your journey is not meant to look like anyone else's because you were never called to copy, you were called to create. You begin to see that every moment of waiting was never wasted. It was planting something deep within you that only time and faith could bring to life. There comes a point in every person's journey when they must decide whether they will continue living by sight or start walking by faith. Living by sight means reacting to what you see, being driven by circumstances, fearing uncertainty. But walking by faith means trusting in the unseen, believing that every invisible detail of your life is being aligned for a purpose greater than you can imagine. When you start living like that, peace replaces panic and direction replaces doubt. You stop begging for signs because your spirit already knows it's being guided. You see, every person is born with a purpose, but not everyone has the courage to pursue it. The ones who do are the ones who stop searching for permission and start acting on conviction. They realize that the dream inside them wasn't placed there by accident. It was planted there as a divine instruction, waiting for them to take it seriously. And maybe that's what this whole season has been about, not punishment, but preparation. Not rejection, but redirection. Life isn't holding you back. It's holding you still until you learn to listen. When you finally become quiet enough, you start to notice the gentle pull towards something deeper, something that resonates with who you truly are. That pull is not random. It's the calling that's been whispering to you through every closed door and unanswered prayer. It's the reminder that what you've been asking for might not come in the form you expected. You've been looking for a job, but what if the job isn't the point? What if you're being prepared for a mission that transcends employment, a way of living that impacts others far beyond the boundaries of a paycheck? There's a special kind of freedom that comes when you stop chasing opportunities and start becoming one. When you realize that you don't need to fit into a system because you were meant to build something outside of it. You stop waiting for someone to discover you and start discovering yourself. You stop asking for validation and start walking in quiet authority. That's when your gifts begin to unfold naturally. Doors begin to open that no resume could have unlocked. People begin to notice not because you're trying to impress them, but because your purpose shines through everything you do. And the beauty of this transformation is that it doesn't happen all at once. It unfolds gradually, like dawn breaking after a long night. Every small act of faith, every time you choose trust over fear, purpose over panic, preparation over complaint, becomes another ray of light guiding you toward your destiny. Eventually, you stop worrying about when your big break will come, because you realize that your big break is you. You are the opportunity you've been waiting for. The world is waiting for what you carry. It's not the absence of opportunity that holds people back, it's the absence of belief. When you believe that your life has meaning, that every moment is leading somewhere intentional, you start to live differently. You stop seeing problems as obstacles and start seeing them as invitations. Every setback becomes a signal that you're being pushed towards something greater. Every disappointment becomes evidence that you're being redirected toward the right path. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" That simple shift changes everything. Because growth never comes from comfort. The things that test you the most are the things that transform you the most. You might not like the process, but the process is what prepares you. If everything came easily, you wouldn't develop strength. If everything went according to your plan, you wouldn't learn to trust a higher one. It's through resistance that resilience is born, through uncertainty that faith is strengthened, and through delay that depth is built. Every great life is shaped in the tension between who we are and who we are becoming. It's easy to think that purpose is something grand, something waiting out there in the distance. But purpose often begins in the small, ordinary moments. It's in the way you show up even when no one sees. It's in the way you give your best, even when it doesn't feel like it matters. It's in the consistency, the discipline, the quiet courage of doing what you can with what you have. Purpose doesn't announce itself with trumpets. It whispers through the work you do faithfully each day. And as you keep moving forward, you begin to notice something powerful. Opportunities start finding you. The people, the ideas, the resources, the timing, they begin to align, not because of luck, but because you've finally stepped into harmony with your purpose. You've stopped fighting the current and started flowing with it. What used to feel forced now feels natural. What used to feel distant now feels inevitable. The moment you align with your purpose, the world begins to respond. Don't underestimate the importance of this season. The waiting room of life is where the strongest foundations are built. It's where you learn humility, patience, and discernment. It's where you learn that not every open door is meant to be walked through, and not every opportunity is meant to be accepted. It's where you learn to trust timing, to hear your inner wisdom, and to act not out of desperation but out of direction. Waiting with faith is not weakness, it's mastery. It means you've learned that what's meant for you will not miss you. In time, you'll come to understand that the greatest gift of this season was not the destination it led you to, but the transformation it created within you. You'll realize that the struggle built your stamina, that the silence refined your focus, that the uncertainty deepened your trust. You'll look back and see how the version of you who started this journey could never have handled the life that's waiting for you now. Every detour was divine, every pause was purposeful, every delay was preparation. And the moment your breakthrough comes, when the plan finally begins to reveal itself, it won't be because you chased harder. It will be because you grew deeper. You became the kind of person who could sustain the blessings you once prayed for. You stopped searching for a job and started walking in your purpose. And purpose will always lead you further than position ever could. Because position can be taken away, but purpose is eternal. So keep walking. Keep believing. Keep trusting that the unseen is working in your favor. Don't let the waiting discourage you. Don't let the silence fool you. Something magnificent is unfolding, and it's unfolding through you. The greater plan isn't something that will happen to you, it's something that's already happening within you. The same power that designed the stars and set them in motion is designing your future with equal precision. You are not lost, you are not late, you are right where you need to be for what's coming next. And when the time arrives, when the pieces align and the purpose reveals itself, you'll understand that every no, every delay, every moment of uncertainty was a gift, not because it was easy, but because it shaped you. The person you are becoming is the true reward. The job, the opportunity, the success, those are just outcomes. The real miracle is the transformation of your heart, the strengthening of your faith, and the awakening of your purpose. You'll realize you were never waiting for life to begin. Life was waiting for you to awaken to your divine assignment.